Hello and welcome to Manchester Banter. We went to see Kieran at the Hideaway Brewing Company on Kansas Avenue in Salford.
I was chasing rainbows when I wrote this song, trying to understand why it took so long to figure what went wrong. What we had was gone. I was banging on like a woman band. Didn't realize what was in my hand. My head was in the sand. Too deep to see your plan.
You know what, the first song that was ever bought for me, the first record that was ever brought for me, because I'm from Manchester, was from Greymare Lane Market, and I must have been 10, and I think it was Tiger Feet. My mum bought me Tiger Feet by the month, and yeah, so I must have really liked that kind of music at the time. But the first record I bought, the first single I bought, was Sunday Girl by Blondie, and it was on pink vinyl. And it was the 12-inch, and I haven't got a clue where it is today. I think someone put it in a car boot. So yeah. And then the first album I bought was ELO, Out of the Blue, and I absolutely loved the Electric Light Orchestra. You know what? I think they all have a way of filtering through. But probably more Blondie because of the post-punk. Because then I went into listening to the Stranglers and the Buzzcocks, and that era was phenomenal for me, and that was before the indie phase and the Manchester scene. Because obviously I'm old enough to be around at that time. And then I think that indie really did kick in. I was listening to Charlatans, I was listening to a band called The Chameleons, I was listening to Stone Roses, obviously, Happy Mondays, and then clearly Oasis, and I was on a radio show about a month ago, and they asked me about my 3 most significant songs, and I tried not to name an Oasis track, and I couldn't. I had to put Don't Look Back in Anger in there, because throughout my 30s, Oasis were always there. They've obviously influenced my lyrics, but more the fact that I want to play indie and acoustic rock. My lyrics are influenced by Suzanne Vega because she writes stories. So I want to write stories, but I want to portray it and deliver it in an indie and acoustic rock style, and that clearly comes from Oasis. A bit like Suzanne Vega, I write about what I see. I write about what I hear, I write about what I know to be true, and probably my imagination, the dreams that I have, where I want to be in life. And I started out late, so I've got a lot of baggage, and that baggage helps write really, really good songs. I've got a song called Mr. Edgar, which I'll play in the second set. And it's about a homeless guy from Manchester, and he walked the streets of Manchester from 1962 to 1991. And the locals will tell you that through the night he would walk with sufferers of dementia who were out walking the dog in the pyjamas in the rain, or sufferers of domestic violence, and he'd make sure they got home safe and well. And the locals would then leave a light on to say that they'd let food and drink out for them. And it's a folklore, story. And I wrote a song called Mr. Edgar as a tribute. I've written a song that is not finished yet called We're Already There, and that was because of the phrase that the wonderful George Borowski mentioned while I was at Whittles about a month ago. And he said, I think the phrase was, you'll only see me if you're already there. So you can only see the good in someone if you're already of that kind of calibre. So I thought I'll write a song around that, and I've done that now. So the influences come from, songs are in the wind, If you can get a lyric, you can get a melody in your head, and if you don't write it down, it's gone. And it's just gone. I don't sit there and go, I'm going to write a song about this or that or the other. I get something that lands in my head and go, whoa, hold on for that, and then write a line down and go, right, how do we turn that into a song? I think that we talk about influences, probably subliminal, is my brother was playing Black Sabbath all the time, he was playing lots of heavy rock, and that kind of tunes in. So some of my lyrics, I've got a song called The Reaper, which I do a cappella, and it's got a lot of darkness in it, and that comes from Alan Parsons' projects, which Alan Parsons is the engineer for Pink Floyd, but he did an album called Tales of Mystery and Imagination by Edgar Allan Poe, and it was a portrayal of that. He's got one called The Raven, and I've taken a lot of influence from that song, as well as, would you believe it, A Christmas Carol, because the song The Reaper is "You can't take it with you when the Reaper holds your hand," so it's based on the story of A Christmas Carol, and yet with this influence of all I can see is the Raven from the Tales of Mystery and Imagination by Alan Parsons. So I can blame my brother for a little bit of my lyrics, but probably not for the delivery, because he'd go nuts if he asked him to play an indie song. So, yeah. I'll walk the dogs, and I might have an idea in my head, and I'll go, right, the dogs are going for the walk whether they like it or not, because I've got this line in my head, or I just heard something, and I'll go out and I'll take my phone, and I mean, a lot of people used to write lyrics down, and I'll take my phone out and I'll record it, and I'll have lots and lots of different versions of that song on the phone from the dog walk, and when I get back I'll play it back, type it out, shuffle it, and lo and behold, you've got a song, you know. And then it's about building the chords after that. But yeah, right now I'm lucky enough to, my songs are pretty spontaneous. I don't think I could sit down and say, right, I need to write a song about that. What I do is, I like to have variety in my songs. I like to do ballads, I like to do acoustic rock, I like to do indie. And I've got a song that is not finished yet, and it's called Stay This Way. And I wanted it to be in the style of the Kinks. So I listened to the Kinks, and I got that kind of village green sound, that English village green sound in my head. And I thought, right, I'm going to write this song now, and then all of a sudden I've got the melody to a really, really good song, and it's that happy, go lucky, and it's very Kinksy sound. But then when I played it back, it sounded more like the Monkees' Last Train to Clarksville. And they do it, and they have their own, they evolve and they turn into something else. So sometimes your ideas don't always come out the way you expect them to, you know.
So it's almost like an evolution of ideas.
Yeah, but it's still got and it's going to be a great song, you know, and that, because when you start out writing, you start about love, loss, life, melancholy, and before you know it, you've got an album that makes people suicidal. So you have to go away and say, I want to write some happier songs, and I write an indie or an acoustic rock or a ballad that is chirpy. And now I've got enough songs, probably for 3 albums, that are a really good mix, and I don't have to put all the love, loss, and, you know, onto one album. I've got one, and it's called Under Grey Skies, and it's about the homeless, and now they're a blot on society. They're seen, you know, they're invisible. Nobody knows they're there, and yet they're a barren land. And it's a cracking song, and I love it. I just can't get the melody and the guitar chords right, and it's been there 5-6 years, and I just can't get that song finished. And I won't release it until it's absolutely right. I won't just release it. I mean, I want to learn to entertain people. I don't want to just get songs out there. I've got enough for an album. The album's not going out until I'm ready, until I know that I'm giving it my best shot and people want to hear it. It's not just to get an album out. I think that my advice to anybody that's starting it today would be, do it your way. You know, don't copy. I mean, I made an absolute, a definite choice not to do covers. Now you can do covers to learn new chords, you can do covers to extend your capability on a guitar, or maybe to get your vocal range different. But no, stick to your guns and get your own stuff out there. There's loads of people doing covers, and there's and sing from the heart. Whatever you're going to write about, don't be scared of writing about things that are painful. You know, I mean, okay, you've got to be careful how you deliver it, but write from your heart. You know. I have got a bit of a roadmap, and this year I purposely came to Manchester because I wanted to go back to my roots and test my skills in my hometown. And the people I've met, you know, Information Highway, Black Sonic Revolver, Naomi Kalou, the Maura and the Fabulous Wonderfuls, I'm learning so much of them. What I want to do this year is support as many bands as I possibly can, because you've got to build your own audience, and they don't know you're there, and they don't know who you are from Adam. So if I'm opening, I mean, I've been really fortunate to open for Black Sonic Revolver, Morris and the Dancers at the Eagle, and I'll be opening again when we go to Gulliver's on the 18th of October. There's a gig on there then, and I opened last week for a band in Wakefield, and now I'm starting to be asked to open, and that's my mission this year, is to open for as many bands as possible and get my name out there so I can build my own audience. You know what, I want to, there are certain people who've known me from open mics for the past 5 years, when I've been knocking about around West Yorkshire doing open mics around there, and I would say those people, Glasgow, Soup Light, there's Sharon Marr, there's Paula Ryan, and those people have inspired me. Ali Boulevard, they've inspired me from day one. There's people who've played my songs from day one. You know, there's a guy called Rodney Collins who's put me on his radio shows since 2019. You know, and they've had faith, and I just say thanks very much for the inspiration, and stick with it. We're on a roller coaster.
Another 5 minutes of fame, but there ain't no one leaving with the prizes they have gained. You can climb a stair to heaven, possessions will remain, and you won't take it with you when the Reaper calls your name. There's a man on the corner, his head's down in his hands. His world has unfolded, but you won't understand. You're walking like a king who has found his promised land. You won't take it with you on the last day that you stand.